The following podcast will contain spoilers, tangents, hot takes, and excessive foul language. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, horror fans, and welcome to episode 336 of Frightmares. I'm your host, Austin Proctor, and joining me today for 2010's Piranha 3D is Michael Vyers. How we doing today?
I'm doing great. I don't know where that voice came from.
I'm doing fantastic. You are on the radio. So, man, oh boy, we're now in the 2010s. We've entered a new decade, as we were just discussing. You were on, the last episode you were on was 1999. We were supposed to do Hatchet, but, you know, things happen. Life gets lifey. Yeah. So you skipped all the 2000s. We're jumping into an entire new decade here for horror. And we were going to do the crazies, but as lately with the podcast, I've been, before we do an episode, I'm just looking around because I plan out the entire year, like in December.
You do. You are a madman. I appreciate it.
I just want to have some, I just love, it's something I love. But now, lately, I've been like, all right, well, let's just see what else is out there. Because, you know, the crazies is good. I haven't seen that in a long time. So I think we picked like 3 each, and then we did Last Man Standing on the spinning wheel. So the last movie to remain standing was the one
the spinning wheel was a good choice. I like.
Yeah, and I didn't want to just do the first one that was the winner. I was like, no, Last Man Standing, because that one stood around for the longest. So that's the one we get to review.
Yeah,
and this
Tim Allen that shit.
Yeah, exactly. So it was Piranha 3D. I think it came down to Piranha 3D, and
which was funny because that was like one of the ones I was thinking about doing anyways, just because I'm going to bury the lead a little bit. I unapologetically love this movie. And
that's why, I remember you saying that you loved this movie, and I was like, oh, that's a good option then. And I think it came down to The Crazies and Piranha 3D or something like that.
Which I also like The Crazies, so.
Yeah, so I was excited either way because I legit have not seen this since theaters. I haven't seen this in 15 years. I
saw this in 3D.
I'm pretty sure I did as well. Pretty sure. Because that was the craze from like 2008 to 2011, I want to say, was like everything. I mean, yeah, we still have 3D movies, don't get me wrong, but it was a huge fad for those years. I wish I could remember what it looked like in 3D, but I have, like I said, it's been 15 years since I've seen this, so I'm very...
The 3D back then was actually pretty fucking dope, too, because they weren't using the red and blue glasses. They were using like those weirdly tinted, like the movies are always a little dim because of that, but man, it could add such interesting depth. And I hadn't seen a 3D movie in a while, and I think the last movie I saw in 3D was Avatar 2.
Okay.
Fucking, James Cameron knows how to do 3D.
The man can direct.
It's not really a thing anymore, but if they release a movie in 3D, like, because there was also a period of time in this when they were like they're making movies. They're putting movies in 3D that didn't have any intention of being in 3D.
Titanic 3D, saw it.
Yeah. Jurassic Park 3D, saw it.
Just add some depth. That's really it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But when the movie, it's like going to an IMAX theater. I want to see movies in their preferred method. Now, if you compose this movie for IMAX, even if it's only a couple scenes, because up until Nolan's Odyssey, no film has been made completely using IMAX cameras. It's just too fucking expensive.
Right.
But if it's like, oh, you made this for IMAX, I want to see this shit in IMAX.
Oh,
if you made this for 3D, I want to see this shit in 3D. I have my every day is a little bit different, but like even like when I'm watching a movie, because Jaws was made in mono, I would rather watch the original mono soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like if I have people coming over and I want to show off, I'm like, well, I want them, to hear the Jaws music and all the like I want to show up. Then I'll put on the surround mix or just how I'm feeling. But for the most part, if I have the choice between, a new mix and the original. I want to listen to the original.
Yeah, I want to get the original just to see, and then maybe, later on we'll test out the new shit. Jaws is a perfect segue to be talking about Piranha, which we will get to. We will get to Piranha 3D eventually. But first, we gotta, before we do that, we gotta do this. We gotta talk about what did Jason Hill make me watch this week. He made me watch something that I don't necessarily know how to pronounce. It is Psych :9 or colon. I can never remember which one is which. IMDb summary: working alone at night in a recently closed hospital, an unstable woman witnesses events that may be connected to a string of murders. Great opening hook. Woman gets stabbed. Nothing special. Grabs your attention. I enjoy the setting of it's an overnight working at a hospital that is closed, and they're doing some collating and organizing of files. Fucking Carrie Yules just pops, or however you say his last name, Elwes, whatever. Fucking.
Oh, I've always pronounced it Elwes, but I don't know if it's correct.
Yeah.
Like the Dread Pirate Roberts, that guy.
Yeah, the fucking guy from, one of the main guys from Saw. He pops up in this with a British accent and threw me the fuck off. It was very.
That's his natural talking.
Is he British for real?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was an accent, and I was like, this is strange. Okay, well, that makes sense then. Anyways, the movie was very confusing. I'm not sure what was real. I'm not sure what was dream. The main actress had these visions that weren't making sense. There's a whole subplot with this serial killer. And it's just her and Carrie Yule's character in the hospital overnight. I can see what they were going for. Like, by all accounts, it's a good move. There's a good movie hiding in what we got, because like the lighting, the camera work, the acting, it was all there, but it's just kind of like a mess of a story. I feel like it was probably budgetary. They probably didn't have the budget to do what they wanted, but man, like I said, there's definitely something good in there. It had a lot of good elements. It was like this kind of mystery, art housey ghost story, but not a ghost story. It's like a psychological thing. It just missed the mark, unfortunately, but I did enjoy the ride for the most part. Jason gave it a 2 out of 5. I agree with his review. His review had promise, but fizzled way out. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. Because like I said, there is some good in there, and I can't deny how it looked, because it looked good for a movie that I've never heard of that probably had a very, very small budget. This is streaming on Starz. I did a free trial on Amazon. Thank you, Amazon, for letting me do that every 6 to 8 months. Appreciate that.
Love a free trial.
Love a free trial. It has a 2.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. And again, it's streaming on Starz. So it's Psych :9. It is very hard to find, but type that in and you'll get it on Amazon. So go check that out if you'd like.
Jason says, check it out. You'll probably hate it.
This one you might be just confused on. So let's talk about highest grossing movies and Oscar winners for 2010. Highest grossing movie of the year is Toy Story.
What I didn't do. I didn't ask you what the Oscar winner was to watch that.
Well, maybe when we get there, you've already seen it.
Oh, fair enough.
Highest grossing movie of the year is Toy Story 3, bringing in $1.07 billion, which is crazy. Highest grossing horror movie of the year, Resident Evil Afterlife, $300.2 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for Resident Evil.
Yeah. Those trash movies made so much money, but I love them.
I do too.
I love them.
So bad. They have a weird trend where they start off strong and then they get really bad, and then they start to uptick a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. This is the 83rd Academy Awards, presented on Sunday, February 27, 2011, honoring movies released in 2010. Best actor goes to Colin Firth for The King's Speech. Actor in a supporting role, Christian Bale, The Fighter. Best actress to Natalie Portman for Black Swan, so that's cool, seeing that in a couple days. Actress in a supporting role, Melissa Theo for The Fighter. Cinematography goes to Wally Feister for Inception. Director Tom Hooper for The King's Speech. Musical score, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross for The Social Network. And the best picture is The King's Speech. Have you seen The King's Speech?
I have. It's been a while, admittedly. But yes, I have seen The King's Speech. I saw it Me and Amanda watched it actually
Okay.
at one point. It was one of those Oscar winners that I missed when it originally came out. So I can't really comment too much on it, except for one, just a beautifully designed movie.
Mhm.
There's images from that movie that stick out to me, and best way I can put it is it's a much better film than I thought it was going to be.
You're telling me. So go and let me give you the IMDb summary for people who don't know about this. It is the story of King George VI, his unexpected ascension to the throne of the British Empire in 1936, and the speech therapist who helped the unsure monarch overcome his stammer. I honestly knew nothing about this. I figured it was a Victorian setting movie.
You thought it was going to be Chariots of Fire, but about talking.
Honestly, yeah, I really did. And it's not. I figured it would involve a king and a speech. I know, big stretch there. But something funny I wanted to note is right off the bat, I was immediately jealous of the microphone we see the British broadcaster using.
God,
It looks like a fucking rocket ship. I'm like, clearly I have to step my game up. Need one of those. But it's actually an incredibly interesting story about someone who is in power, who people look up to, who physically cannot speak to the masses because he's doesn't like being in public, but also stutters. Like, it is such an incredible story. And this is like a real thing. This is inspired off of the real King George VI. So the immense pressure of having to speak fluently and needing to do that in front of people, like when the first opening scene is him going in front of like thousands of people and he just cannot do it. I've never felt so much anxiety watching a movie in my life. And I wholeheartedly mean that because it was so relatable to like my life. I can't even get in front of like a classroom, or used to not be able to do that. Now, after I've been through like rehab and stuff like that, I have no problem getting up in front of people and like leading groups. But I related to that so hardcore because I was like, this just feels like me when I had to do a presentation for the class. Like, I couldn't do it. So Colin Firth is great. Jeffrey Rush, my God, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I really wish he won. He was fucking flawless in this movie, and they had
he is so it's crazy,
so good.
It's crazy to think this is the same actor from fucking House on Haunted Hill. It's weird to think this is fucking Barbosa, and he's so fucking good.
That's actually one of my reviews that I had a couple reviews that I wrote down, and it's like one of them involved. I have to remind myself that Jeffrey Rush is not actually a pirate because he's so convincing as Captain Barbosa. Like, after like he does other things, then he's not a real pirate, because I just love him as Barbosa. But it is a beautifully told story based on real events. It's like heartwarming. It's cozy. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just like a cozy.
I absolutely get what you're saying, and like, it's a bromance movie between these two dudes.
It is.
It's. Like Jeffrey Rush has that blue suit with the fucking stripes.
Dude, I think
about that all the time.
They're dressed to the nines in this movie. Like, oh my God. It's just really good. Honestly, I did not expect to love this the way I did. 3.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. My review is because at one point there's a trick that they used to do. They used to like get a whole bunch of marbles and you'd put them in your mouth and you try to speak to overcome stammers. So my review is a mouthful of marbles. I can't even brush my molars without gagging. There's no way. So
same.
This is also streaming on Stars, weirdly enough. So if you want to go check that out. Yeah.
Got lucky there.
Yeah, I know. It was because I couldn't find it anywhere, and I just happened to do the free trial for Stars, and then I searched it on Amazon, and I was like, oh, there it is. It's on Stars. So go check that out. It's a really good time. Let's do this IMDb roundup before we get to the movie at hand. This is Piranha 3D from 2010, released on August 20th of that year in the US. Boy, this my favorite kind of horror movie. Rated R for sequences of strong, bloody horror, violence, and gore, graphic nudity, sexual content, language, and some drug use. It is severe in every single category: sex and nudity, violence and gore, profanity, alcohol, drugs, and smoking, and frightening and intense scenes. That is a horror movie right there. Severe in everything. Runtime of 1 hour and 28 minutes, listed as a comedy horror, directed by Alexandre Aja, who also did one of the greatest French extremist films, High Tension. He also did The Hills Have Eyes, 2006, and he also did Crawl. It's really weird to know that he did High Tension and this, because they are tonally so different.
Yeah.
that threw me off.
That is something I definitely want to make sure we take some time to talk about on this episode because, this man has had a weird fucking career and we need to discuss that.
All right, we can do that. Written by a couple people, Pete Goldfinger, who also wrote Jigsaw, Spiral, and Saw X, and then Josh Stolberg, who also wrote those same 3 movies. Composed by Michael Wandmacher, who also composed My Bloody Valentine 2009, The Last Exorcism Part 2, and Underworld Blood Wars. Cinematography by, honestly, one of probably my favorite cinematographers, John R. Leonetti. Also did the cinematography for Dead Silence, Insidious 1 and 2, and The Conjuring. Edited by someone that just calls themselves Baxter. He also edited High Tension, The Hills Have Eyes, and Maniac 2012. Starring Elizabeth Shue as Julie Forrester, who was actually in our most recent episode, or one of our recent episodes, Hide and Seek, as Elizabeth. We've got Jerry O'Connell as Derek Jones, who was also in Scream 2 as Derek. Ving Rhames pops up in this for a little bit. He was in our recent episode of Dawn of the Dead as Kenneth. Christopher Lloyd also pops up in this as Carl Goodman. Everybody should know who he is. And then we get Richard Dreyfuss as well as Matt Boyd. He was in Jaws as Hooper, which is hilarious. He was actually paid $50,000 for his role in this, and then he donated that to charity. What a fucking good guy. That's amazing.
He can be.
Is there something I don't know about him?
He's just kind of just been notoriously an asshole.
Interesting. Okay, like to work with?
Yeah, and to like fans sometimes, and a little bit of.
Okay. We
don't have to get too deep into it. It's very Googleable, but like he's a fucking fine actor. I like Richard Dreyfuss quite a bit, but he is a
character. An interesting person.
Yes.
And then you can't forget Steve R. McQueen. It's actually Steve McQueen's grandson. He's in this.
He is.
Yeah, it's so random. I thought I had known him from something, but I really don't know him from anything. Estimated budget of $24 million, grossing $83.2 million, so not too bad. Filmed in Lake Havasu, Arizona. You can watch this on Prime, Tubi, and Plex. Movies that came out around the same time. What a wild mix of movies we have here. Inception, we've got Salt, Dinner for Schmucks, The Other Guys, Step Up 3D, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, The Switch, The Last Exorcism, Machete, Resident Evil Afterlife, Devil, Easy A, The Town, and Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Gaul. That fucking long name. Have fun putting that up. IMDb summary: after a sudden underwater tremor sets free scores of prehistoric man-eating fish, an unlikely group of strangers must band together to stop themselves from becoming fish food for the area's new razor-toothed residents. This is Piranha 3D.
The magic of 3D has taken audiences from the vastness of nature to the ocean's depths. But this summer, it will take you to a place unlike any other.
Bring the noise! All right, Lake Victoria, let's hear it! Bring the noise!
What's going on over there?
Whatever you do, do not go into the water.
The lake is off limits to everyone.
There's something in the water!
Piranha hunt in packs. The first bite draws blood. Blood draws the pack.
Get out of the water, okay?
So, overall thoughts on this? You unapologetically love this movie. Tell me about it.
So, like I said, I unapologetically love this movie. I saw this at least a couple times in theaters. And part of the reason being, Once upon a time in Milwaukee, we used to have a budget movie theater. So a lot of times, me and my buddy Paul, he's my movie buddy, if we missed something theatrically, we knew we could get it. We could see it at the budget theater for $5. And then on top of that, if we really liked something, we could go back and see it for $5. And this was the summer of Piranha. Like, I don't know, we both just really enjoyed this movie. We didn't know what to expect going into it. Full disclosure, still not seen the original. I have a copy of it. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I was always a big fan of Jaws. I just loved the audacity of this film. And I'll be completely honest, I never thought Alexander Aja had a fucking sense of humor.
Right. I mean,
and I've heard stories, because like Alexander Aja didn't write this movie. I have a feeling that Pete Goldfinger and Josh Stolberg know what the fuck they're writing, but I have heard stories that Alexander Aja does not understand that this movie is a comedy. So I don't know if that's true. That's just the quote that I've heard, that he doesn't understand that this movie is a comedy. So I think it just further proves that he doesn't have a sense of humor.
Oh shit. That's great.
Because like you look at some of his other films, Horns is another that feels really out of place for him.
Oh, he directed Horns. I just picked that up the other day. From
I like Horns.
Okay.
I feel like it'd be better with, say, someone like Guillermo del Toro, but you know, it's still good. But then you look at something like Crawl. I really like Crawl, but Crawl is almost the other end of Piranha 3D, where it is like, it's fun, but not in the way that Piranha is.
Right.
It's almost like, what if we made Piranha but more serious? And that's almost what Crawl. And that's not to say that Crawl is not a ridiculous movie, but I don't know. I'm just shooting off the hip here. I feel like Pete Goldfinger and Josh Stolberg really knew what the fuck they were writing, and then Aja was just adapting that, because like this is the most fun I've ever had an Alexander Aja film. I don't usually put his movies on for comfort.
No.
But this one I did. This one, like, you know, I'm gonna get a little serious here for a second. This one helped me out quite. Like the DVD, me and my mom wore this movie out. My mom likes this movie.
That's amazing. I
watched
love that.
This movie with my mother. There was a period of time where, so I think I've told you about this. My dad passed away from cancer.
Mm-hmm.
There was times where the night that he passed, we just needed something to distract us. We had Piranha 3D on in the background.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It's like, it was a comforting movie for us because it's so fucking dumb.
Yeah,
but it knows how dumb it is.
That's kind of one of my big points in this movie, because my overall thoughts on Piranha 3D are, it's just an incredibly over the top, self-aware, illogical mess that somehow manages to be hilarious, entertaining, and gory as fuck. This is like Corey likes to use this phrase, lightning in a bottle. This is one of those moments where it's like, this movie just shouldn't work the way it does. And I mean, it's got terrible ratings, honestly, but for the people that it works for, like you and I don't know, maybe people don't get do they not get the joke? Maybe, I don't know, because like
I don't know, like I think, or you know, we've talked about this off mic quite a bit. I feel like some people take their movie watching way too seriously, and like you said, maybe people don't get the joke. Maybe don't. Like, not everything has to be viewed as like it's the fucking Godfather. And it's not to say that it's not a stupid movie. It is. It's just, it's a self-aware stupid movie. And also, like, this was a very cool time, because like at this time, so many movies in this time period for horror were just going really excessive with their CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that they had K&B out there still fucking making some grody ass effects mixed in with you can't really do piranhas practically. Not in, like, you can, but you shouldn't. So like, I appreciate that. It was a very fine mixture of CG and some grody ass effects.
Yeah, the CG, you're like, wow, that's bad, but then you see practical, and it just balances it out to be, at least for me, it balances it out, I think.
It's funny. So like, I'm not going to use this review as part of our letterboxed reviews at the end, but my friend Ryan DeWorth, he watched this movie somewhat recently.
Okay.
And his review was along the lines with, is like, he's like, I'm shocked that Eli Roth only has a cameo in this film because I would have sworn he directed this.
Right?
And I was like, yeah, because Eli Roth can do something like Hostel, but then he will make shit like this because this is what he like. I honestly would have liked to have seen Eli Roth's Piranha 3D.
Yeah, this movie is heavily Eli Roth coded. That is a completely accurate movie review for this. I completely agree with that. So let's talk about that opening scene because it is something to witness if you've never seen it. My God, this is where Richard Dreyfuss pops up. He's fishing or whatever. Now I have a question for you. Is it like suggested that the beer he dropped in the lake is what caused the rift? Because as soon as it hits the bottom, shit just opens up, and I was like,
I feel like it was about to break anyways, and it was just the beer that broke the camel's back, or I guess Piranha's back in this case. Yeah, like I hadn't thought about it. I just figured it was like, oh, what timing? But more than likely, that is what they're probably trying to instigate there.
So yeah, that happens, and then of course the rift opens up down below. It's hilarious. It's just ridiculous, and then. After there's a big spiral of water. It's just over the top. It's so ridiculous. And then the title sequence feels like a Girls Gone Wild commercial. You know, the ones that you'd probably wake up to in the middle of the night when you left your TV on, like Spike TV. You'd wake up and it's just girls.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'm like,
me and my wife had a whole conversation about that. Where like those commercials, even when I was a young kid, and those commercials, and I'm not gonna lie, I had those commercials on because I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, sometimes you'd wake up to them, and sometimes I'd stay up and watch them.
But the thing about them is, like, even as a kid, I'm like, you guys can show this on TV, and so I appreciate that Jerry O'Connell is playing a Joe Francis type. Joe Francis is the dude who created Girls Gone Wild, and just a small little aside, me and my buddy Paul, who watched this movie a lot that summer, we just thought it was the funniest fucking thing. That little clip of Jerry O'Connell just going wild. It cracked us up for whatever stupid reason.
That's one of the big things that worked about this movie for me is his character. He's a fucking cartoon character. I mean, he's so ridiculous.
Absolutely.
He's so ridiculous. And he's not only the funny person, the comedy hits in this from beginning to end. It's because sometimes comedies, it can be really funny at the start and kind of trickle off. This, I feel like it sets a bar and then it just maintains that bar of comedy throughout the entire movie.
It's also weird to have Adam Scott not be the comedian in the film. Like they're almost trying to make him to the action star. Like what?
Yeah, because he has that scene towards the end when he gets on the jet ski with a pump shotgun, and I'm like, who is this Adam Scott? Who is this guy? But yeah, he doesn't really have many funny lines.
It was pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was such an incredible scene. I love that scene.
I'm not trying to jump around too much, but I will say he does have my favorite comedic beat in the entire fucking movie.
Comedic beat?
Yeah, like my favorite comedic moment.
Okay, go for it. I mean...
When they're talking, it's spoiler. It's the very end of the film when they were like, they're like, "Those are just the babies." That's my best way I could do.
Yeah, it's fine. I knew who you were.
But then, like, my favorite part is when he's just like, "Huh, where's the mom?" And then he gets fucking it's just his huh. It just fucking cracks me up every time.
That's funny because when Gabby and I were watching it, we both did the same thing. He went, huh, and we just cracked up laughing because of that reaction was it's exactly how anybody would react in that situation. Like,
I know, and it wasn't concerned. It was like pure curiosity. I'm like, huh, that's weird.
That's really bizarre. So some other things that were great, the comedy is great, the gore is great. I really loved, and this is just, I don't know, the cinematography in this, especially like the underwater shots when they would just have a camera, not the CG'd shots where they're, but like
their underwater photography was very well done.
Oh my God, it was so good. And that's what I love about aquatic horrors. Usually you get a lot of underwater shots, but there's one shot that's like burned into my brain. There's like all these reeds on top, and it's like maybe 3 feet of water, and the camera's just slowly swimming through it. I'm like in my head, I'm like, this is cinema. I love this so much.
Cinema.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's what it is. Yeah, cinema. So it's shot pretty well. Yeah, I mean, Alexander Aja, he knows what he's doing. He's made plenty of horror films up to this point, so he knows how to work a camera and stuff like that. Every character in this too feels like a cliche, but not that it's not something that bothers me. I don't care, but everyone just seems like a cliche or a trope. Every single character, like this movie knew what it was doing and just leaned the fuck into it, or
and
maybe
I know
it
a lot of people will treat cliche and trope as a negative thing.
Right.
It doesn't have to be.
No.
They are tropes for a reason because they work. Now, it's not to say that just because there's a trope in the movie, it's going to work. Like, it all comes down to execution. But I feel like I won't try not for this to become a fucking rant, but like I feel like far too many people put originality on this fucking pedestal that like, oh, this has been done before. Oh, I've seen this before. This is a ripoff. This is I've seen this story done in this thing or whatever. Who fucking cares?
Right.
Just because something original does not mean it's fucking good. Like, it's all about how something is told and how these tropes are handled. Austin, we had a conversation very recently about that.
Mm-hmm.
That tropes don't have to be a bad thing. There's actually a comfort in them because then having tropes allows you to subvert tropes.
Exactly. Yeah. So I totally agree with that because it's really hard to explain when tropes are used in this instance, or like Cabin in the Woods, something like that. I'm fine with them because like that's kind of the whole point of the movie. It's not a serious movie. It is a wacky, ridiculous, almost making fun. I don't know about this movie, but Cabin in the Woods is like making fun of the tropes. So
absolutely.
I don't know if this is making fun of the tropes.
I would say it is.
Okay.
It's not being as clever as Cabin in the Woods, but I definitely do think that this movie knows what kind of movie it's making. It knows the tropes of these animals gone wild. Animals gone wild. I meant to say animals attack. Actually, animals gone wild works so much better. It knows the tropes. It knows what it's trying to do, and it knows when and where to subvert them.
And that's what's so great about this movie, because the main core of the story is so fucking dumb and irrelevant. But I don't care. I'm there for the piranhas. Jake accidentally gets this job with Jerry O'Connell's character. I can't fucking remember his name. Derek.
Derek Jones.
Derek Jones. So yeah, Jake gets a little side gig with Derek Jones, and that's like the core of the story. They're going out to film a Girls Gone Wild, episode or whatever. This is a dumb plot. But like, I don't give a shit because I know there's blood and carnage coming. So the plot really doesn't matter. And that's why I think it works so well in this, because this is just a fun movie. If you can just, put logic aside for, an hour and 28 minutes and just turn your brain off, you'll have a lot of fun. But if you're too critical about this movie, of course it's not going to work for you. It's not meant, like, we're not going to have a critical, deep discussion on Piranha 3D. We're going to talk about what's so great about it. And it's just entertaining. That's what movies are there for. Movies are meant for entertainment. Yes, they can have deeper meanings and they can be allegories and all this stuff, but this is Piranha 3D. You should know what you're getting into with that title.
Yeah, like, honestly, I'm a firm believer in expectations and having realistic expectations when you go into a film.
Yeah.
Sometimes buzz can raise expectations and so forth, but like, I have a certain expectation when I go into a movie with a title like Piranha 3D. Yeah, that is going to be very different than my expectations going into Dune or something. Like, that's just the first movie that came to mind. But like, the best quote I've ever heard about this comes from my friend Kate, who was on my Omen episode for my podcast, The Shameless Show. And I don't think she said this on that episode, but she definitely said this to me one time. She had a English teacher who was a published author. He had the greatest name of all time, Mort Castle.
I like that.
I'll never forget that name just because it's so strong. He would say, if you go to a steak restaurant and you order a steak, you can't be mad that you didn't get pizza. You went into this movie with an expectation of what it is, and you can't be mad that it's not something else.
Yeah, and sometimes it is hard to know what expectations to have going into some things. I like the hype you mentioned is something that probably had some weight on why I didn't like Bring Her Back. And there's other movies that have just been like so, and like, Long Legs was another one, very hyped up, and it just didn't work for me. But those movies are so hard to know what kind of expectations to have because they're so mysterious with their trailers and how they market them.
And that's a different situation altogether.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you went into Piranha 3D and wanted it to be Weapons or Sinners or some some fun horror film that also exceeded expectations, you're setting yourself up. Like, it's always nice when that happens,
right?
But you should go in with an expectation of knowing what the genre tropes are for an animals attack movie.
Yeah, and it's what's really funny is I've seen the original Piranha by Joe Dante. No, obviously nothing like this. Completely different. It's a fine movie. It wasn't anything that I loved, but it was an entertaining movie. But this is an instance where they took source material and pretty much just kept the piranhas. Like, that's pretty much it. And that's fine because no one is gonna get hurt when this movie got remade, because it's not like Piranha the original is this beloved classic that gets this.
Piranha is the perfect movie to remake.
Exactly. It's a movie it's a good movie. It's it's entertaining. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but it was fun. This movie just takes it and amps all the fun parts up to 11 and has the most wild time with it. And that's what I love about dumb movies. I love dumb movies. I really do.
Yeah.
I love stupid movies. And by all accounts, this should be like a 1.5 star to 2 star movie, but it's not. It's not.
Like this is more entertaining than something like Sharknado.
Yeah, absolutely.
And part of that is, they had a budget. And like Sharknado knows what it's making, and I'll give them that. I'll give them that credit altogether. And once again, just because a movie is confident in what they're making does not mean you need to like it.
Right.
I also want to throw that out there. But I feel like Piranha knew that if they just really doubled down on the spring break of it all, the gore, all those things, and then just have some really interesting casting. Elizabeth Shue as our lead female protagonist, she's great.
Fantastic. Yep. That's actually my next point too. That's funny that you're mentioning the cast. That was my next point. So yeah.
My wife had a fantastic comment while we were watching this. It was near the beginning when like the punk kids were like hitting on Elizabeth Shue, and then she ends up like showing how confident she is and putting the one guy in like a hammerlock and so on and so forth. And my wife looked at me. She goes, "Not gonna lie, all cops are bastards, but that was pretty cool."
She was so great. Yeah, I mean, Jerry O'Connell, we mentioned, fucking cartoon character. Bing Rames. Badass motherfucker with a shotgun who has one of my favorite moments in the movie. Like Christopher Lloyd.
Was it the moment with the fucking engine?
Yeah, dude.
The boat engine?
Just
so cool.
Rips it off and goes to town on all the piranha. Like, so over the top and ridiculous.
Can I give you a small spoiler?
For what?
For the sequel.
Oh, I've seen the sequel. It's just been a long time.
Yeah, he comes back. He's back.
That's amazing. Okay.
He just has no legs.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
For some reason, Paul Scheer is the guy who's pushing him around. I don't know. I think they just want to get Paul Scheer payday.
Okay. Yeah, that title is probably one of my second or third favorite sequel names.
Piranha 3 Double D.
It's fucking incredible. And there's boobs on the cover. So then you got Steve McQueen's son in this as well. Christopher Lloyd. Like, this movie has the most random casting that almost doesn't make sense, but makes perfect sense at the same time. And then Adam Scott eventually comes later on toward the end of the movie. He's the seismologist or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. And then it's got Eli Roth in a small cameo. And then this movie it's actually surprising that this movie wasn't made by someone who's worked for Troma, because there's so much trauma in this film. And the biggest one being, so Lloyd Kaufman says in one of his books that, nudity in your horror movie will sell. It's not necessarily an easy sell to get an actor to get naked. One of the ways you can get around that is to hire adult film stars because they are comfortable being naked. This movie does that.
Yeah. I mean, they show you like a lot of crotch shots, not crotch shots, but there's two women in the water, like mermaiding around, and it's just like vagina. Like, I'm like, how is this not NC-17? Like, what's happening?
Or the parasailing scene where that woman is topless parasailing. That's adult film star Gianna Michaels. Like,
so they really hired like a lot of interesting. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, there's one of the reviews that I didn't grab, but I was looking at it was like, there's almost too much nudity in this, but he's like, I know too many boobs in a movie is not a thing, but I think this is where the limit is is in this movie because there's so much nudity. But you're not wrong. Sex does sell. And it doesn't feel out of place in this movie because of the context. I mean, it's literally they're filming Girls Gone Wild. So
yeah.
And if it's related to the movie, I don't mind it. Sometimes there are gratuitous like sex scenes or boobs, and I'm like not into it. But since this is part of
it doesn't fit in.
Right.
There's the promise of the premise. I think
Yes.
I've talked about this on Shameless Picture. There's promise of the premise. This is a spring break movie. Also a movie that is utilizing the Girls Gone Wild trope, which, funny, I was supposed to be in the Hatchet episode. That's also a subplot in Hatchet, funny enough.
Oh, yeah, that is. That's hilarious.
That was just a thing for a while.
Okay.
So like, there's a promise of a premise. That is what you expect from this movie. Now, if I just keep mentioning weapons because I just watched. Now, if there was like gratuitous nudity in weapons, that'd feel weird as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. It would feel very weird. It's just like X. X is about them shooting a porno flick. I'm okay with the nudity because it pertains to the story. So that's why it doesn't really bother me in this because it literally it pays. It's part of the movie. And then, of course, who else would not judge, but who else would run the wet t-shirt contest than Eli Roth himself? He pops up and I'm like, he literally has the most random acting career. He just pops up.
I want to know like how this came to be. Like, did Aja approach Eli Roth? Did Eli Roth find out about this? Was he just on set and like, oh shit, you're Eli Roth?
Yeah, like
I don't know.
I don't know either. But it's hilarious because he just pops up and there he is. The wet t-shirt contest, and then he actually has a pretty fun death as well. And specifically talking about the piranha, this was kind of interesting because the way that the eggs are in the movie, it's like these big towers of eggs. I was just curious. I looked up piranha, what they look like, and what the eggs look like. Now, the eggs by themselves, they fucking actually nailed. Like what you see in the movie, they don't grow in the big towers like that we see, but the individual one that like floats up to the camera, that's exactly how they look. And I was like, that's actually kind of cool that they made it look realistic to a certain extent. I thought I was like, wow,
yeah,
I have to commend you on that. And then Christopher Lloyd popping up, who's the fish expert, is hilarious to me because I'm like, you just happen to have specifically a fish store in town, and this guy can identify a 2 million year old species in 5 seconds. It's so stupid. It's like I don't care because it's like it fits with the movie.
It's like going to a fucking pet store and getting a history lesson on this extinct. It'd be like going to a pet store and getting a history lesson on saber-tooth tigers.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you mean? How do you? He didn't even have to go grab a book. He identified it just by looking at it. I'm like, all right, this is our guy. Christopher Lloyd is the fucking man. It's so funny. He has a very small part. He's in like 2 scenes of the movie, but he's great in both of them. And then what's another part of the movie that's really great, or just kind of the pacing of this movie is great because it's entertaining. It's fun. You get some blood and gore, kind of kind of feathered in here and there. But then the third act rolls around, and it is just the most batshit third act I've seen. It's like maybe like a top 10, just like wildest third acts like that you'll see because everything just goes haywire.
It just keeps amping up.
It just keeps going.
And then I was thinking, just from a producing standpoint, like this seems like a logistical nightmare to have this many people, this many gore effects. That's a lot of people who have in makeup at any given time. They are literally like spreading fake blood throughout this lake, so they have to probably do a filtration system to get that back out again because they can't just leave that in the water. And then I was thinking, okay, if they're not actually shooting this on a real beach, this is a close situation, and then they built this beach, and that's also a logistical nightmare. You have all these boats, you have all these people, you have all this pandemonium going on. You're going to try to shoot clean audio. Water in itself is a pain in the ass. And then like I got stressed out. I was like, I can't think about trying to produce Piranha 3D.
I had a similar thought on a much smaller scale when they're kind of panning around the little bay that they're in, and there's all that blood and just body parts and people and boats and wreckage of the stage. And I thought, God, this must have been a nightmare to actually be on the filming side. Yeah, like, oh my God.
I have shot on the water, and it is not easy. Like, because one, it's one thing when you're in the bay, whatever. But anytime you're actually on the water, you have to deal with the simple fact that your boat is moving constantly. And so, say you're shooting out in the middle of this large lake, you need to get your crew out there as well. So then you have multiple boats all just bringing crew and equipment out there. And yeah, they could probably do close-ups in a bay or something. But then you're also dealing with trying to match light, trying to match the sky. Dude, it's a pain in the ass shooting on the water.
And this is a pretty consistent movie in terms of how it looks. It's very, very consistent. And I can't even imagine how hard it must have been to film that third act. I mean, even just from a casting standpoint, with how many people are panicking and freaking out, like that's got to be crazy. But it's pure chaos for the last 25 minutes of the movie. I mean, there's a literal scene where a piranha eats a penis and then burps it back out. If that doesn't make you laugh, I don't know what would, because I cackled so loud when that happened.
Yeah,
I almost woke up the baby.
That cracked me up. Yeah, like I said, I'm still thinking about the logistical nightmare this movie is.
Don't go down that rabbit hole, man. Don't do it.
I need to look up who the assistant director is. Okay. And the reason being, the assistant director is who would be the person directing all of those background actors.
Oh, okay.
So Rip Murray, you are the assistant director on this. Good on you, motherfucker. Good on you. Oh, he also did he did second unit and assistant directing on Cloverfield, which is also a notorious movie with a lot of extras.
Oh.
So, Rip Murray, you know what the fuck you're doing.
I was going to say, that must be, maybe that's just his thing. He's good at shit.
Sorry, I had to go down that rabbit hole. Yes, Piranha eating the penis, fucking one of my favorite moments of this entire movie.
So ridiculous. Like it's just so much fun.
They burp it up and yeah, we don't want this.
Yeah, no, we're good. And that's what's hilarious. Derek's like, they got my penis. His fucking legs are just completely he could have just been pulled apart at that point. His legs were evaporated. And then the Julie is the mom, and it's Elizabeth Shue. She's the fucking mom of the year by stopping everything she was doing, jumping in a boat with Adam Scott and going to rescue her kids. Not sure why they decided to, because they're like, the one thing that didn't work for me, and I'll just segue into that real quick, because it didn't really make sense why they went to the boat to grab everybody. His girlfriend is down in the little hole or whatever, and they're like, we'll come back and get you. I'm like, what is that gonna do? Why do we have to come back? Just break the fucking glass and get her out. That's the only thing I did not understand.
Yeah. I just kept thinking too. It's like that water would have, with the rate that water was coming up, she would have been fucked already.
Yeah, she would have been fucked. So that's like the one actual issue I have with the movie, because I was like, wait, why didn't they just do this? But it's just so much fun. And it's weird because the things that don't work for me aren't really things that matter. They're just moments that are so over the top. Like the divers finding the fucking cavern when they go through that little hole and it opens up into this massive, doesn't make any sense. It's fucking stupid, but I don't care.
Well, that actually does make sense.
Oh,
that is a real thing. Underwater lakes are a real thing.
Son of a bitch. Okay. I'm looking at this this logistically doesn't make sense to me, but okay.
We went down a whole Google hole after that, so that is a real thing.
All right, confirmed. The piranha coming out of that girl's out of her mouth makes no sense. It's stupid, but it's hilarious. I don't care.
Yeah. That one I'll give you.
The walkie-talkie that he takes underwater and then uses it. All right, I don't think they're waterproof walkie-talkies. I could be wrong, but I was like, that doesn't make sense how it's still working. Whatever.
Who cares?
And then just blindly pulling the what's-her-face, the girlfriend, I can't remember, Kelly, through all those rocks. They're like, all right, on 3, pull us. And I'm like, through all the rocks? What do you mean? I don't care. This movie makes no sense. And it's not meant to actually make sense. But it
makes just enough sense.
Right. Yeah. And even when it doesn't, I'm like, I don't care.
No, I am here to watch Ving Rhames, destroy fish, and to hear Jerry O'Connell say, that if fish looked like this, I'd only fuck fish.
Yeah. Coked up Jerry O'Connell might be one of my favorite things, because he was already funny before, and then they start busting out the cocaine and doing lines, and then he goes to 11, and I'm like, this is like peak comedy. I think it's hilarious.
Absolutely, he is so fucking funny in this movie.
He's great. Yeah, and it's what's even funnier is Jason of Jason's Picks, he recommended a show that had Jerry O'Connell in it, and I was like, that's so weird that Jerry O'Connell is coming up twice in my week. What was the fucking show? Sliders. He recommended something called Sliders that has Jerry O'Connell in it. It's like a time travel buddy comedy or something like that. But now I want to go look at more of Jerry O'Connell's work, because I was like, I like him so much in this. And
I think you'd also really he plays a very similar character in a movie called Satanic Panic.
I've seen it. I own that one. Huh.
From 2019. He plays a similar character in that movie.
Okay, well now I have to rewatch that.
Yeah, that one is fun. I want to also rewatch that movie.
Yeah, so I own that. I'll need to check that out again, because I watched that, probably 5-6 years ago when it came out. Is there anything you wanted to highlight before we kind of move on with the format?
Things I want to highlight? Not really. Like, honestly, I think we've touched on so much of it. Like, I'm not saying this movie's going to be for everyone.
Yeah, right.
All I'm saying is go in with reasonable expectations. And you might hate this movie. Though I often then question, why are you watching this movie if you don't think it's going to be for you? Like, if you look at my Letterboxd, I'm not necessarily a lenient critic. I play to my strengths. I play to things I know I'm going to like.
Right.
I feel like there are movie fans out there who will intentionally subject themselves to things they know they're going to hate just so they could, just so they can pad up their numbers for lower reviews and seem like a more well-rounded film critic. If you don't think you're going to like an animal attack piranha film that's set on spring break with a really strong Girls Gone Wild subplot, don't fucking watch it.
Yeah, this is not for you.
But if you want something mindless and dumb with some crazy fucking effects from the dude who gave us High Tension some fucking reason, and you want to watch Eli Roth's head get crushed by a boat, this is your fucking movie.
This is your jam. And remember, it's a comedy horror. I feel like sometimes people forget that horror can have comedy in it. I saw a review of someone from Weapons that was like, there is too much comedy in Weapons. Comedy does not belong in horror. And I'm like, you must have...
Didn't scare me. Didn't scare me. Not a horror movie.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, horror is so much more than strictly being horror and scares. Like, there's so many different subgenres of horror. So just know that this is a comedy. It's a comedy first with horror elements. I think that's very important to know.
I am a huge fan. I do believe there is a distinction between comedy horror and horror comedy.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So hooked for me, hooked and lost. I'm hooked right at the cold open. It's over the top. It's ridiculous. If you are watching this and you don't like the cold open, then I'm going to tell you right now, the movie's not going to be for you, because it keeps that level of just absurdity.
Yeah, and because like fucking Richard Dreyfuss is dressed like his character Matt Hooper from Jaws. He's singing the song from Jaws. It's it's actually shocking he doesn't just have the same name.
I kind of was. I thought he would have the same name when I did the IMDb write-up sheet, and he didn't. And I was like, it's fine. But yeah, I figured he would. For me, I'm never lost. I'm hooked right at the beginning, and then I have fun all the way till the end. I assume it's probably the same for you. You're right in with this movie, right?
Yeah. Like that. Once Richard Dreyfuss pops in, I'm like, okay, this movie knows what it's doing. It knows what it's trying to do. That's not an accident.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know, something as silly as a seismologist divers, fucking sold.
Love it. Horror moment for me is when the girl gets her hair caught in the propeller.
Ooh, that's a good one. And her face gets ripped off. Such a good effect.
Yeah, because she can't move and she's like trying to move, and then it cuts to the water shot and the prop starting, and I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. Anything involving like degloving of hands and face ripping off, count me out. That is not a way I want to go. So what about you? Did you have a horror moment of this movie?
I don't want to choose the same one, even though realistically that's probably going to be. I would say I'm going to take horror as a little bit different and say the most thrilling sequence of this film is the entire sequence when they're trying to get across that rope between the two boats, and then Elizabeth Shue falls in, and then Adam Scott's like that whole little fucking sequence. I thought it was very well done.
I love that, and I love how they all went to cross the rope together for some reason.
That's a bad idea. Also, the little girl, I don't know how she had any grip onto that rope whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't either. And also,
I was just like using her toes.
And also if it came down to that, for me, I'd probably fall in. I don't think I have what it takes to do that on a rope. Maybe like, if it was like a metal pole, sure, but like a dingy little rope, I don't think I'm gonna make that. I don't think I have it in me.
I would try, but I'd be piranha bait.
Yeah, I'd try. Favorite kill for me is Eli Roth getting his head smashed. It's just so goddamn funny and good because you see it coming about 3 seconds before it happens, and it's great. I love a good head smash. Head trauma is always fun to see in movies. What about you? Did you have a favorite kill?
Let's see. I'm trying to think of because like there's so much insanity at the end of that film that I'm trying to pick out like one specific.
It's hard.
It is. I know you said it for your favorite horror moment, but I would probably say the propeller kill.
It's good. Yeah.
No, it's like that is such an effective effect.
Yeah, it was really good, and that's why I love this. That's another reason why I'm glad there's practical effects to balance out the funky CG. But it's also, I'm pretty sure it was filmed for 3D, right? As well, was it, or did they do it later? And
so, what I thought, it was filmed with the intention of it being in 3D. From what Wikipedia is telling me, so take that with a grain of salt. I haven't checked any of the sources yet, but it says they decided to shoot Piranha in 2D and convert it to 3D in post-production using the 3D conversion process.
Okay.
So they had the intention of it being in 3D, but because of underwater rigs and 3D cameras, so it's a kind of a gray area. They had an intention. They knew they wanted it to be in 3D. They just didn't know it was going to cost too much to convert underwater cameras to 3D. So they shot it with the intention of 3D and converted it afterwards. Okay. So kind of.
Yeah, 50-50 on that. Favorite character for me is Derek Ahid. Just ridiculous. Such a wild character. Did you have a favorite character as well?
I love Elizabeth Shue in this movie, but actually, I'm gonna put my money behind Ving Rhames still.
Okay, all right.
Ving Rhames is it's Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah,
and he does not look like a bitch.
Not a bitch, and nope, not even kind of. Least favorite character for me is Zane. He adds nothing to this fucking story. He's just an extra body. I don't care about him. he's the younger brother. He does nothing for this movie, in my opinion. He's just kind of there.
Oh, he does have like the best line in the movie though, when his sister is like, well, when I become a famous rock star, and he goes, you play the trombone.
All right, I'll give him that. I'll give him that. What about you?
Oh, least favorite character. There's so many douches in this movie.
So many douchebags.
Like, I love Jerry O'Connell, but if I had to choose like an actual least favorite character, it's proby
you love the performance, not the person.
I love the performance. Yeah. I hate the character.
Love it. My favorite. I have a favorite line this time. Sometimes I don't. This week I do. It's very early on in the movie during the scene with Elizabeth Shue where she says, "You boys take one more step and you'll be pissing lightning for a week." Laugh so hard. Love that line. So good. And there's a lot of good one-liners, but that one.
I feel like I've already given a couple of my favorites. It's definitely tied between Zane and his fucking trombone line, or just Adam Scott in the end. I love it. I don't know, but I'll probably give it towards Zane just because that line is so fucking funny.
All right, cool. I've actually gone through all of my random thoughts as we've gone along the review here, and if I reviewed horror movies on Letterboxd instead of shamelessly plugging my show, it would be the first 2 acts floated, so the third act could swim. A little fun play on words there because I'm dumb. Anything else you'd like to mention on Piranha before we wrap up here?
Not that I can think of. I haven't written my Letterboxd review yet. By the way, what I've been doing when I've been promoting my stuff is I'll give a 1 or 2 sentence blurb and then promote my shit.
Damn it! Now I have to start doing that. Okay, I do.
You don't have to.
No, I know. I feel like I need to because I don't know why in my brain tells me like, well, I can't review it and put a link. I don't know why. I make rules, I swear, for no reason. Like,
I will say sometimes I get really excited. I'll click on a movie that you've seen, you've rated high, you promote Frightmares, and then I can't find the episode because it's not one you've actually talked about.
So this year I've started actually linking the show to like, every previous entry. So I've started doing that. So
cool.
All right, well then let's do some post-review stuff here before we get out of here. Taglines, there's some good ones here. This summer, 3D shows its teeth. See sex and blood. Don't scream, just swim. 2 million years of evolution, one perfect killer. And this summer, how fast can you swim? Trivia, director Alexander Aja planned to have Joe Dante, who directed the original, and James Cameron, who directed the Don't ever let James Cameron forget he directed Piranha 2: The Spawning. He wanted them to play boat captains who give safety lessons to the teens. Dante wanted to do it, but Cameron was too busy, probably with Avatar fucking 2 through 7.
I love, though, that implies that he considered it.
Right. I love that. That's amazing. He did consider it, but he's like, no, I'm too busy. Let's see. The production crew estimated that 75... I don't know how true this is, because I thought Evil Dead 2013 used the most blood, and it wasn't this much. But apparently the production crew estimated that 75,000 gallons of fake blood were used each day. I could have sworn Evil Dead 2013 was like 50,000 gallons? I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is they just mean purely because of the water, but I wouldn't count that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. 1,112 boats were used for the Spring Break Massacre set piece.
That is a logistical nightmare.
And no cuts were demanded by the MPAA, which is fucking crazy.
That also goes back to something we've talked about, how lenient the MPAA has gotten.
Yep. Goofs, nothing I could find. A value rated 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb, 2.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Has a shockingly high 75% on the tomato meter. I think
critics liked it.
I think it's certified fresh at 75% and a 45% audience score. What did you give this, Michael?
I think I gave this movie 4 stars.
4 stars? Okay. I rated it a 3.5, so just shy of a Frightmare certified slap. Similar movies according to
real quick, I do have tomato meter pulled up, and it is certified fresh.
It is certified fresh.
The popcorn meter, which is the fan one, is 45%. So whenever people are like, critics don't get things,
they get this.
Clearly they got Piranha 3D.
Similar movies according to Letterboxd, we have Shark Night, Cabin Fever, Hatchet, Hostel, and Feast. Similar movies according to IMDb, we have Piranha 3DD, Piranha 1978, Anaconda, and Piranha 2: The Spawning. Oh, and Crawl. There you go. Let's do some funny reviews. I have 5, I think. Yes, I have 5.
Let me see what I got. Real quick, I do got to point out that Piranha 3D has a higher tomato rating than Eddington.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
2, 3, 4, 5. I got like 6, but I can narrow it down. One of them is not short. I got Leonard Maltin's review because I got a Malty.
Let's end with that one because let's savor that one.
His reviews are still short.
Okay,
like if you're familiar with Leonard Maltin, but they're not as short as like some of the Letterboxd.
Some of the one or two liners. All right, what do you got?
All right, so I'm going to start off with a simple one from Justin Nordell, who's someone I follow on Letterboxd. He gave 3.5 stars and just said Elizabeth Shue got to eat.
Let's see. 3 stars from Aaron. Quote, Jaws at home if your house was on fire. It's very much what I expected it to be. So There you go. Someone who expected the craziness and got it.
All right, this one is from S. Mill, who gave it Piranha 3D 2 stars. Said, a major plot point in this movie is seismologist divers. And then it just leaves it there. And then says, I liked when Eli Roth's head got crushed between 2 boats.
Seismologist divers. 3 stars from Hank. I recommend everyone to go swimming with piranhas. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I just like the play on words, that is, because it literally would be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
All right. This is 2 stars from Aaron. It says, I hope the feminist piranha that bit the guy's dick off and then burped it back out is having a good day.
That's incredible. I love that. 4.5 stars from Groove Man. Did you know that a piranha can devour a small child down to the bone in less than 30 seconds? Well, anyways, I lost my job at the aquarium today.
All right, this is my last one before Malty.
Okay.
This one is a touch longer, but it still made me laugh. This is from Max. He gave it a 0.5 star.
Oh, wow.
It says, it's too easy to abuse power as a director or to misdirect it. What's funny about this review is they just take their review way too seriously. Scariest moment of this film was seeing Harvey Weinstein's name appear in the credits. But after having watched the movie, it makes a lot of sense. If you want to make porn, make porn. Don't pretend to be something more so you can justify putting 17-year-olds into these situations. Wish I hadn't watched this. Oh, and the plot, editing, characters, and general vision was just tainted.
Wow. Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, right?
All right. So I've got 2 more, and then I'll let you do your Malton.
We'll say Leonard Maltin was nicer than that.
Then I'll do these last 2. 2.5 stars from Jessica. My mother said, fish blowjob, and I will never be the same again. And then lastly from me, 3.5 stars from Haley. How are you guys going to watch a scene where a man gets his dick bitten off by a piranha and spit it back out and think that it only deserves 2 stars? Get your priorities straight.
Yep.
All right. What does Malty have to say?
All right. Leonard Maltin gave this movie 2 stars on his scale. He does a 4-star scale. So 2 out of 4. An earthquake opens a fissure beneath an Arizona resort lake, freeing thousands of extra-large, famished prehistoric piranhas. It's spring break with hundreds of often naked college students engaged in sex, fun, and games, ... So dinner is served. Not really a remake of Piranha 1978. This is 20,000 leagues more violent and gory, with people losing flesh and body parts to the hungry fishies. Tongue-in-cheek tone makes it a bit easier to watch for those who aren't gore fans, though it's not as clever as the original. Dreyfus appears briefly as in something, I can't pronounce the word, archaeologist named Matt, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, advertised as Piranha 3D, followed by a sequel. That's all he wrote. So it's not, it's,
I like it,
it's a pretty standard Leonard Maltin review, and I like what he does.
No, I like him as well. I still, the rating system to me is bizarre, but it's only because it's different than 5. There's nothing wrong with it. Michael, where can everybody hear you on your podcast?
So you can find my podcast, The Shameless Picture Show, on all your favorite podcast apps of choice. We are also on the Cinepunks Network, where you can find all 9 years of our podcast. That being said, we're not like those other podcasts that you can only listen to the first 100 episodes. No, all of our shit is available. All of our shit will be available. I don't give a shit. Wasn't expecting that to be a rant. Most recently, we just did an episode on Bobby Deerfield, an underseen Al Pacino film from the 1970s. Coming up, I have To Catch a Thief with Ross Bigley, which I believe Austin is editing currently. And then we have, shortly after that, we will have a John Waters double feature, which bringing back my former co-host Nick for that. And just announced, I will also be doing the Japanese film Houseu with the former head of programming at Turner Classic Underground, Millie DeCherico. She's coming on my podcast.
Hell yeah. So go check Michael out on the Shameless Picture Show. If you enjoy this show, please rate and review on your favorite podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher, Blue Sky, Threads, and YouTube at frightmarespodcast. Our email is stayspooky@outlook.com. You can follow me on Letterboxd at Dr. Proctor. Michael is Vyers _?
10, 2008.
Okay, no underscore. Vyers 10, 2008. As I've already mentioned this, be sure to go follow Shameless Picture Show. Go check out the Dead-Eyed Millennial podcast, 2 shows I edit. Next week, Gabby and I will be doing The Cabin in the Woods from 2011. So until then, stay tuned and stay spooky.